hello, y'all. Hello, hello, hello. We have had a long day today, and the world is full of all kinds of possibilities and craziness. Yes, we do have all of that and more, right? And a lot of things we just brushed over and didn't really see or didn't pay attention to, right? I mean, one day I heard about this DC bomber. A long time ago, we heard about the DC bomber. Then a day we found out that they got the DC bomber. And then all of a sudden, we didn't hear nothing else about that DC bomber. Are they sure they got the right guy? Are they sure they have the right guy? I don't know. Because they don't really tell us anything, right?
The suspect arrested in the DC pipe bomb investigation told investigators that he believed the 2020 election was stolen. Now, this is likely the first indication of a possible motive that has emerged in this investigation. Brian Cole, the 30-year-old suspect, sat for a number of hours with the FBI, and they believe he is the one who placed these pipe bombs at the DNC building and behind the RNC building just a few blocks from the U.S. Capitol. The FBI and the Justice Department declined to comment to us about these reports, but it really puts a new focus on the conspiracies that have surrounded this investigation, some of which have been put forward by Dan Bongino, who is now the deputy FBI director. He told his audience on a podcast just earlier this year that he believed this was an inside job.
The person who planted that bomb was definitely an insider. It was not an anti-Trump person. It was someone planting a bomb to create a narrative that crazy MAGA people are trying to assassinate Kamala Harris.
After the arrest announcement, he appeared with Sean Hannity on Fox News, and he backed away from some of those earlier comments.
I was paid in the past, Sean, for my opinions. That's clear. And one day I'll be back in that space. But that's not what I'm paid for now. I'm paid to be your deputy director, and we base investigations on facts.
Bongino also told Fox News on Thursday that the FBI interviewed the suspect at length, and our sources tell us that he made a number of statements over the several hours of interviews. The suspect arrested in the DC pipe bomb investigation told investigators that he believed the 2020 election was stolen.
So he believed the election was stolen. So, I mean, we could only surmise from that particular statement is that he was somewhere on the right. He was somewhere on the right, and he believed that the election was stolen. The election being stolen, and nobody on the left believes that the election was stolen. So I can only assume that he's on the right. So why isn't it they haven't said anything more? This would have been a story all over the country and the globe if that person would have said he was a person from the left. But because this person is from the right, we haven't heard anything from this person, okay? We haven't heard anything from this person, anything about this person, except we know that he went to trial. He went to the first court appearance that he had, and that's the court appearance he had today. Let's see. He appears in court. Let's see.
Family left court today without answering any questions. John Shorman, the man in the red tie, has been hired to represent Cole. Before the hearing began, Shorman told News 4 he was still building his defense team and would have a statement later.
Brian Cole said very little in court today other than confirming he was 30 years old and had a high school education. The magistrate judge then read the charges against him and the years that he could get if he was convicted. As he was led out of the courtroom after a hearing that lasted less than 15 minutes, several family members stood up and yelled, "We love you, Brian," and then broke into tears.
The FBI says Brian Cole Jr. is the person in these videos walking around the DNC and the RNC in January of 2021, the night before the attack on the Capitol. It took almost 5 years, but investigators say they have enough evidence to convict him. In a 7-page court filing, the FBI says On January 5th, 2021, at approximately 7:10 p.m.,
Mm.
Cole's Nissan Sentra was observed driving past a license plate reader at the South Capitol Street exit from Interstate 395 South, which is less than 1/2 mile from the location where the individual who placed the devices was first observed. The agents also wrote, provider records show that the Cole cell phone connected with provider cell phone towers, consistent with the Cole cell phone being in the area of the RNC and the DNC. On January 5th, 2021, the Cole cell phone engaged in approximately 7 data session transactions with provider towers between 7:39 p.m. and 8:24 p.m.
So y'all think he's gotten that he's the right guy. He's the right guy. We don't have any evidence that he's not the right guy. We have no clue who this particular person is. I can't tell who this person is with all this stuff it has on. But they got a bunch of markers they can figure out. I mean, he placed bombs at both the DNC and the RNC headquarters. Okay. But see, when you hear reports about this, they're trying to spin it as we don't know why he did what he did. Right. They act like they don't know why this person did what he did. When they had conversations with this person believed that the election was stolen. 2020 election was stolen. So who was putting forth that narrative that the election was stolen? The election was stolen because the president, who actually knew that it wasn't stolen, had put forth this narrative and pulled these people into his goofiness. This is what this president pulled into his goofiness. See, here's the thing. People keep saying the election was stolen. We think the election was stolen, blah, blah, blah. President Trump knows that the election was not stolen. He knows that it wasn't stolen. He has to continue that narrative because most of his followers believe that it was stolen. A lot of them on that side believe in those conspiracies. And when people believe in conspiracies, they're starting to wake up. A lot of them are starting to wake up, of course. But Donald Trump knew the day that he lost. Because in the testimony of Rudy Giuliani said that Trump knew that it was stolen. Every person that testified, every person that went to prison, went to jail for him, knew that the election was not stolen. They lied for him just to keep that whole shebang going. And the only people that didn't know were the people that were out on the street that may have gotten arrested because they did what they did. And they keep saying there's no official motive yet. You don't need no other motive other than the fact that this young man believed that the election was stolen. And so now, is Donald Trump going to pardon this person? Now that he knows, he may pardon this person. You never know. But he is a black boy, so I don't know how Trump would feel about that. But this particular person right here did what he did because the president said that the election was stolen. So we're gonna keep an eye on this, and I brought attention to it because let's see if he gets pardoned by Donald Trump. Let's see if anything is done to this young man. Okay, can he or can he not pardon this person? Now, you pardoned everybody else. We're gonna see. And on top of the fact that none of these things exploded. But they were alive. They were alive, but they weren't exploding. They didn't cause any harm. But let's see if Trump decides that he's going to pardon this person. Let's see. And he may or he may not. We never know, but we're going to keep an eye on it because he pardoned everybody else from January 6th like nobody did anything. So we expect the same thing. I'm not saying it's right or wrong. What I am saying is you pardon the young man, you pardon everybody else, then this young man should be able to get pardoned too, if that's the case. I'm just saying. Sorry about that. I had somebody come in. Hold on. Let me pull this up. This is something weird that I saw the other day. Watch they try to do this.
As young Australians, we will be completely silenced and cut off from our country and the rest of the world with this ban. It's like we just grown up with this our entire lives, and now it's just being taken away from us all of a sudden. We wouldn't even know what else we could do. I've already heard of these like different apps that kids are going to jump to because like this social media is being taken away. But I believe once this social media is taken away, these platforms, the main ones, they're not like perfectly regulated, but we can like control them, and like they're more regulated than other social media platforms.
See what Australia went to do. Australia has went to, what is it? Yeah, I heard about the Rob Reiner. That's the last thing I talked to about. They have cut access to those young children, 16-year-olds in Australia, mainly because of serious concerns and harms. Do you think it's a good thing to cut off all social media for people or the 16-year-olds? It's not about politics, it's about safety and mental health and online exploitation. According to the young people, they're being disenfranchised. They're being cut off. They don't want any more suicides. They don't want any more fights. They don't want any more disruption from 16-year-olds. And so this is what's happening in Australia.
And when kids like jump to these less regulated social media platforms, that's when like they're shown more things, or they're more like vulnerable to online bullying or predators. It's when it's less regulated.
And Noah engages social media in so many positive, wholesome ways. The things that Noah's generation learns, we dreamed of. We were so limited to libraries and single pages of encyclopedia. My parents would never have dreamed that my children could be so fortunate to have this library of knowledge. But I really credit.
I think, knowledge is power to a certain extent, but them cutting those kids off, that's kind of wild that they would cut them all the way off social media. I guess after a certain amount of time, or maybe it's all the way. That's wild. Yeah, Reddit, they can still get on. It just depends on what they allow the kids to do. Then we had this Australian. What the hell is going on in Australia, y'all?
Beach, the world's most iconic stretch of sand, tonight eerily empty. Now the scene of one of the darkest moments in our nation's history. As the sun was setting on Sunday, two gunmen, a father and son, opened fire as families gathered to celebrate the Jewish Festival of Lights. 15 innocent lives were taken and more than 40 people were injured. Among those, a Holocaust survivor and a 10-year-old girl. Senior reporter Damien Ryan begins our coverage.
Thank you.
How many?
The famous Bondi Beach, the setting for a celebration of one of the most important days in the Jewish calendar. The festivities, the joy, suddenly silenced by screams and the shattering of gunfire. People diving for cover, others lay dead. It was the most perfect of summer evenings, thousands upon thousands at the beach, now running and hiding. Two men, we now know, a father and son, were behind the massacre. Heavily armed, positioning themselves on a walkway bridge, shooting down at their target, the 1,000-strong crowd from the Jewish community.
Oh.
The massacre lasted 9 minutes, and almost every second and every angle was captured by someone with a mobile phone. Bridget Sarks was on a scooter and saw the gunman arrive.
And he just picks up his huge rifle and just right next to us just starts like shooting.
For 4 minutes, the gunman unleashed a barrage of shots as police were still racing to the scene. So nearly caught in the line of fire, people on the steps of the bridge, they had little choice but to run as the shooters split up, racing up and down the stairs, taking aim from ground level. It was at this moment when one man, one brave individual, changed the course of this shooting spree. From behind a car, he saw his chance and took it, tackling, wrestling and disarming the older man and then turning the weapon on him. He points, but he doesn't shoot.
Yes, somebody got it. Somebody got it.
The father scrambles back up to the bridge and arms himself with a third weapon. The shooting continues. What we don't see, the hero, a Sydney father of two, Ahmed El Ahmed, is shot twice in the shoulder and hand. It's now a gun battle as the police move in. There's an exchange of shots. The older man is hit.
That's wild. That's crazy. I mean, they got cameras. Well, I guess everybody's a reporter, right? This is the Hanukkah celebration on Bondi Beach in Sydney, Australia. A father and a son. The attack is described as, that's crazy. How the hell they get those guns out there like that? How the hell did they get those guns out there like that, y'all? I hear somebody in the chat, you're saying the open carry. I mean, this country is the most strict. That country is the most strict gun law. How the hell they get these big gigantic gun law? How the hell did that happen? And it was a targeted anti-Semitic assault on the Jewish community. So did they say whether these guys were Muslim or what? Nobody said anything. A father and a son. So this is something that's been brewing. Over 40 people hurt, killed. Father was killed at the police scene. Son was critically injured. So the father was the one who got jumped. And so all of these people died because of this hate against. Wow, I don't even want to say it. The shooters were Muslim. The man who tackled the one shooter was also Muslim. So they knew. So they came, they didn't come there to live. If you had any sense, you wouldn't have came there to live. You would have came there and deliberately put yourself in the way to get broke off. Anti-Semitic going around, is anti-Semitism going around the world like this? Why is it that we have a rise of hearing about anti-Semitism? Why have we gotten this every day, every other day? We hear something about somebody hating the Jewish people. And so now we got Netanyahu coming out. When you acknowledge Palestine or you acknowledge somebody like that, according to him, then you give rise to violence. Just listen to how that sounds. Because you don't want to acknowledge the fact that Palestine exists. You want other people to deny that Palestine exists. Or you want everybody to deny something about Muslim. So now we on that Muslim is bad train. Okay? We had the Afghan guy in Washington, D.C. So now we got another shooting here. Now we back on that Muslim is terrible people. And most Muslim people are very gentle, kind human beings. So that tells me there's a bunch of resentment. There's a bunch of resentment of the Muslim community towards maybe the Jewish community over there. And what are they doing about, the hate and the violence that may be going on? This is the only thing. This is the only one. This is the most recent one that ever happened over there. And historically, anti-Semitism surges during England and Ireland, during periods of war, economic anxiety, political polarization, social instability. This is wild, okay? And the Israel-Palestine war is not doing us any good. It's a major accelerant, major. And with them not trying to acknowledge the Palestinian people, I would be kind of angry too if you're not trying to acknowledge that I exist. That's the whole shebang right there. Israel doesn't want people to acknowledge that Palestine people exist. And we just can't erase the people like they don't exist. We can't just ignore the fact that those people those people exist. What do you want us to do? You want us to say they don't exist? Okay. Anti-Israel, well, that might be anti-Israel, but does that mean anti-American? We're not a Jewish nation. We're not a Jewish nation. Okay, we're most of our people are Christian. Why are we concerned about what's going on with? I don't understand why we can't get this America first. I understand that we're Muslims. These people are Muslims, and these people are X, Y, and Z. But you still have to acknowledge that they exist. The Palestinian people exist. Okay. But it is what it is. That ain't my fight. It ain't never been my fight. Cause it ain't never been my fight. Cause we're not gonna argue over something that's not our fight. Now we gotta fight. Syria. What the hell is going on in Syria?
American and Syrian military personnel came under fire on Saturday, December 13th, 2025, during a coordinated ground patrol in the central Syrian town of Palmyra, resulting in multiple casualties. According to Syria's state news agency SANA, 2 members of Syrian security forces and several US service members were wounded in the attack. The assailant opened fire on the joint convoy, killing the gunman in the exchange. US helicopters rapidly evacuated the injured to the Al-Tanf military base located near the borders of Iraq and Jordan. The attack marks the first major security incident targeting US forces since the December 2024 overthrow of longtime dictator Bashar al-Assad.
Why are they playing that crazy music?
And the subsequent warming of relations between Washington and Syria's new interim government. The Pentagon stated it was aware of reports, but provided.
You think we're gonna retaliate against that, y'all? You think the president said he said we're gonna retaliate? He said because he thinks is it ISIS? Is it ISIS? And if it's ISIS, open a civilian interpreter and 2 soldiers were killed by gunfire during patrol in central Syria, and 3 other soldiers were wounded. The attacker is believed to have been linked to the Islamic State, ISIS, possibly having infiltrated Syrian security forces and opened fire during what was supposed to be a joint engagement. The gunman was killed by partner forces on site. Well, we're at war, so I'm assuming we must be at war with Syria. Shit. This is the most direct attack that we have had against the United States. So if we've had this direct attack against the United States, why wouldn't we do some serious retaliation? I know the Syrian government was groveling like That wasn't none of us. That wasn't none of us. Okay. But it's still people in your country that you support somehow, some way. He said, we're going to have very serious retaliation. So most Israeli hating countries say Palestine exists. Yeah. Why is it that, oh, well, yeah, well, my question is, why won't it be acknowledged? Oh, okay. It won't be acknowledged because we're one of those countries that put Israel first. Okay. Israel first. Since we put Israel first, even before the United States, we got to go along with the narrative that Palestinian people are attacking Israel. Okay. We have to go along with that bullshit. Okay. U.S. still has around 900 troops in Syria, primarily to support the anti-ISIS counterterrorism operation, right? And partner with the local forces. The mission has continued even after the former Syrian government's fall in 2024. Okay. No, this ain't got nothing to do with BLM. Don't put BLM into this, Jeb Common. It's always some goofy shit with y'all. BLM is not no terrorist organization. I don't even understand why y'all got that fixed on your mouth, but you don't have white supremacy in that whole group. Don't even understand that. So we ain't finna even acknowledge bullshit, right? Because they ain't nowhere near these levels. Okay. So the Syrian authorized arrest of these individuals, but that don't mean Donald Trump. So what Donald Trump gonna do? Donald Trump ain't gonna. You don't even sound normal. Y'all don't even sound normal. The dude that was in charge of running the numbers on people who are a terrorist group didn't even know what the fuck a terrorist group was. You don't even know what a terrorist group is. So you just listen to people tell you who they are. You probably ain't never met no BLM person. Probably ain't never met no Antifa person. Here you are, an expert with BLM and Antifa. Ain't never met none. But I bet you probably met a white supremacist maybe. Maybe. That before a BLM person. But yet and still, why ain't the white supremacist people on the terrorist list? Why ain't they on the terrorist list? I don't know. So we got active troops still in Syria. We're gonna have some more things like that. People, and this is the narrative that we've been hearing, or we were hearing, that ain't nobody gonna try Donald Trump. Ain't nobody gonna try Donald Trump. As long as Donald Trump in charge, ain't nobody gonna try to try Donald Trump. They tried everybody else, but they ain't tried Donald Trump. So ain't nobody gonna try Donald Trump. Yeah, that's exactly how we feel just in time. When you say something about BLM, it's a joke. It's a joke. So we got civilians killed in Syria. Let's see what Donald Trump does. Seeing as how Donald Trump said, people say, ain't nobody gonna try us as long as Donald Trump in charge. Let's see what Donald Trump do. Is Donald Trump gonna do anything, or he just gonna sit back and say, "Oh no, them is our buddies, them our pals"? Let's see if he just sit back and say that. See, sometimes I don't believe your president. If your president don't say nothing, your president don't do no retaliatory against any of this, that means he's bought and sold. Well, he is bought and sold. He's already bought and sold. We know that. We just want to find out how deep. Let's see how deep he's bought and sold.
The people, unfortunately, 2 are no longer with us. Brown University, 9 injured, and 2 are looking down on us right now from heaven. And likewise in Australia, as you know, that was a terrible attack, 11 dead, 29 badly wounded. And that was an anti-Semitic attack, obviously. And I just want to pay my respects to everybody. I must say in Syria also, we had an attack in Syria, and we had 3 great patriots terminated by bad people, and not the Syrian government. It was ISIS. Syrian government fought by our side. the new president fought by our side. But I just want to pay my respects to the families. We also had 3 injured, but 2 of them are already out of the hospital, and one's going to be okay. But we lost 3, so it was a rough day. But to Australia and the Prime Minister, to everybody that we know so well, we get along with so well, we have a great relationship. That's a terrible situation going on over there. Think of that. And Brown University, great school, great, really one of the greatest schools anywhere in the world. Things can happen. So to the 9 injured, get well fast, and to the families of those 2 that are no longer with us, I pay my deepest regards and respects from the United States of America. Thank you very much. It's a very important thing to say. And we mean it.
Well, I don't believe you. We don't believe you, seeing as how you couldn't even be bothered with giving condolences to the family of Rob Reiner. So, you know, we already know where you came from. This is the Boston. These are the Brown University people. Update. And I'm not understanding what the hell is wrong with this president. Well, you know what? You don't need to really understand what's wrong with this president. He's a piece of shit. He's always been a piece of shit. So we shouldn't expect no more than what he put out today. We shouldn't expect any more. And people get shocked. Why would we need to even be shocked? Okay? We shouldn't even be shocked at what this president says or does. I don't know where he said nice things about Rob Reiner at. Maybe we already know you live in an alternative universe. We already know that. I ain't heard no good thing. Did he come back around from saying the bullshit that he said? Because I didn't hear him say shit.
Throughout the assistance that we have continued to receive. As we announced last night, we would be providing enhanced police coverage throughout the Brown community, throughout the East Side, and really throughout the city of Providence. And what residents and neighbors saw today was exactly that. There was specific enhanced coverage in Fox Point, Wayland Square, on Thayer Street, and on Hope Street, which are the commercial districts in the area. And I want to express the city's profound gratitude to the following departments who provided mutual assistance.
No.
And so we're encouraging parents identified, apprehended, and tomorrow in Providence.
Okay.
This is the last week of the semester, and it's important for our kids to be in school. And so we're encouraging parents to do what's right for their family. We understand that there are probably difficult conversations happening at the kitchen table right now, but if you're comfortable, you should send your kid to school. Providence Public Schools are open, and we have police coverage at drop-off and pickup times to provide that extra sense of safety and security for our families.
So they have no idea who this boy was, who this person was who did this. They have no idea who did this. The manhunt for that person. They had somebody in custody, thought it was the right person, and now they have no idea who it could be. And this person could be all the way across the country, and we would never know. We would never know. We don't know whether he's black, white, orange, Italian. We don't even know. He's just unleashed. Okay? They picked up the wrong person. Yes. How could y'all pick up the wrong person? How could you even stop the manhunt? But then I heard that the president said, we got him. We got him before any of this could have been. Yeah, he could be in class tomorrow. He could be right there going to class, just seeing how the investigation is going. Let me get close to y'all, see what's going on. So, how close are y'all to picking him up? That's wild.
I spent the morning out at our schools too, in the neighborhood to be there for our parents, and they certainly were glad to see an officer helping out. And so, as we've said many times, but it's important to continue to say we're so grateful for the tireless effort of law enforcement, not just to assist with the investigation, but to help all of us feel safe in our home. At this time, I'm going to turn the mic over to our governor, Governor Dan McKee.
Thanks, Mayor. And just like all of us, we want to see the individual that pulled the trigger on these young kids identified, apprehended, and brought to justice. I can tell you from the state level, we're continuing to coordinate our state police and instructed the colonel to make sure that all the resources that are available are being employed through the direction of the mayor, but that partnership is incredibly important. I also know that the schools are not only being impacted on the higher education in Providence and also K through 12, but I also have heard and have been in contact with our Commissioner of Higher Education, Sharon Gilkey, along with our Commissioner of K through 12, Helen Infante Green, to make sure that we are reassessing all safety issues in all our schools in the state of Rhode Island, and more to come on that. The issues that have to do with mental health, coordinating around the state through our higher ed and through our K through 12. I've assigned Director Rick Leclerc to make sure that they're coordinating all of the social services, all the mental health help that's out there, so that we can kind of also deliver that on a statewide basis. I was at Family Services Rhode Island today on Hope Street, and just seeing what they're doing, and it's being duplicated all around the state of Rhode Island. So I think it's important that.
Why would you say the shooter is 5'8", stocky build, and the shooter ain't white? Why would you say that? They haven't given any kind of indication what color he is. You don't know nothing about being a Democrat. That's probably a Democratic university. You don't even know any of those things. So I'm not listening to you. And he didn't say anything about being white male. Let's listen to what they say, any kind of description. They don't give no description? No.
We do everything we can out of the governor's office to support what's happening at Brown.
You need to tell Goofy just me in then, because he's saying, oh, he's not white. What do you mean he ain't white? Most these people who do this kind of thing is white.
Community Brown,
not that they can't be, but most of them are.
But also knowing that this is impacting on a statewide basis. So
why are y'all under the biggest denial that most of the shooters that have happened this year have been religious right white males? Why is it that y'all say black men are the most violent, and most of these shootings and these killings, these murders, these mass shootings are white men? Goofy. White men. I don't care whether they come from the left or the right. Most of them are white, religious white men.
Deploying that efforts to make that.
So people can figure out who, what, when, where, and why. What do you mean? Why do I need to know whether he's white or not? I don't need to know. These people need to know.
To make the effort to let people know that we want to do everything we can so they can be safe and feel safe. And finally, we want.
Yes, the bulk of the shooting that has occurred in this country the past year, and most years, is white. And most of them are usually tied to some kind of religious affiliation. They ain't been black. Most have been white. That's all I'm saying. I ain't saying nothing else.
I want to make sure.
There ain't been no trans neither. All the shooters ain't been no trans. That's goofy logic, Black Wolf.
That all Rhode Islanders know that everything that is physically possible is being done, and partnering in with our federal, the FBI, our state law enforcement, and also the local law enforcement to bring
when I do
an
that.
individual.
When I do that. when I make the damn thing too big. Sorry about that, y'all. No, let me copy this. Damn, I hate when I do that. I hate when I do that. Make it too big. And it won't go back. No, I'm saying there's goofy logic what you're talking about. That is somebody else other than stand up for the truth. Hold on. I hate when I do that. And I come up with the wrong thing too. Man, hold on. Uno momento, y'all. Uno momento. Damn. When you get lost in this rabbit hole with this doggone shooting shooting, what the hell is that? Brown University. I hate when I do that. Okay. Oh shit. Hold on. Let me open this link. Cause has they got a person of interest, or did they get a person of interest? That's what I'm looking for right now. Did they get the person of interest? Oh man, okay. Well, maybe they got something I don't know. Hold on. Yeah, that's what I did. Okay. The Brown University shooter. Press conference. Okay. It's still ongoing. Hold on. Wait. Uno momento, y'all. Sorry. Okay. Now I gotta reopen something else up. Watch. Hold on. Here we go. All right. I don't want to make it go further. Sorry about that, guys. Hate these things. Can I jump ahead? How do I jump ahead? Can anybody tell me how I jump ahead on this? Because I don't know how to jump ahead on this. Oh, here we go. Fuck it.
Know that everything that is
Hold on.
physically possible is being done, and partnering in with our federal, the FBI, our state law enforcement, and also the local law enforcement to bring an individual and identify and bring that person to justice. We also have been involved communicating with the legal cities and towns today. Randy Rossi, they've sent out a message to deploy their vehicles, their police vehicles, at the beginning of the school day, at the end of the school day, all around the state of Rhode Island to again show that we're serious about having people and the families feel safe, and that everything that's being done to make sure that happens on a statewide basis, because this has become a statewide issue that is being impacted families and people throughout the state of Rhode Island.
Okay.
Now we'll hear from Colonel Oscar Chris.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you all for being here again. Here we are once again to provide you with some of the highlights and the progress that the Providence Police Department alone.
Okay, where's the pig?
That we chose on the sidewalk. This is prior to the incident. Here we go again with the video too, Mike. Again, you see him walking. Go on to the third video.
Oh, okay.
This is some photos color of this individual. And they will all be timestamped. The last photo. Thank you. So we'll be providing this as well, and I ask you all to please make sure you all put them up, and that anybody in the public that has any info about this individual, we ask that you call our tip line, and we'll also have the numbers in the.
So the investigation has gone further than that. They had, is this the video you're talking about that they got pictures of this person? Is this as far as they got? Because I couldn't find the actual pictures, video. They just got those films, those pictures, those video. And I also don't believe. And the whole point is you don't know what his religion or anything else is. You don't know anything about this person. Okay. Nobody knows anything about this person. Or maybe they do. They caught the actual person. Well, because he was lying. Well, he wasn't black. What was he lying about? That's the thing. What else do y'all got?
Website.
Yeah. Thank you, Colonel. The last speaker today will be Special Agent in Charge from the FBI, Ted Dox.
That's all we can see. He's a little pudgy.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, everyone. My name is Ted Dox. I'm the Special Agent in Charge of FBI Boston. We know there's a lot of public concern about the horrific mass shooting at Brown University on Saturday, and rightfully so. I can assure you that law enforcement team standing before you today has been working around the clock, 24/7, to ensure justice is fully served. While we mourn the devastating loss of the victims and those who are critically injured, the FBI and its partners are dedicated to honoring their memory through a meticulous investigation. Tonight, as Colonel Perez stated, we are renewing our call for the public's assistance in seeking any and all information about the shooter. No amount of information is too small or irrelevant. We are also here to announce the FBI is now offering a reward of $50,000 for information that could lead to the identification, the arrest, and the conviction of the individual responsible.
Now, why is it that why are they offering a reward? Why is it that they're offering a reward to try to find this person? If they're so damn good, why can't they find the right person? Why? That's crazy. Without offering money. That's wild.
Who we believe to be armed and dangerous. We're asking everyone in Rhode Island and beyond to review the new images of the suspect, share them on social media, and come forward if you have any information. You can contact the FBI at 1-800-CALL-FBI or the tips provided by the police department at 401-272-3121. Or you can also provide tips electronically and submit it to tips.fbi.gov. We're also doubling down on our efforts to obtain images and video of the shooter. Those can be submitted online at fbi.gov/Brown University shooting. Our agents and analysts are fully embedded with our law enforcement partners, including Providence and Rhode Island State Police. We are tracking down leads, canvassing neighborhoods, and developing intelligence. And right now, our evidence response teams remain on campus processing the scene. And folks from our lab from Quantico are documenting the trajectories of the bullets to reconstruct the scene. It's painstaking work, and we are asking the public to be patient as we continue to run down every lead so we can get victims, survivors, and their families, and all of you the answers you deserve. Thank you.
Mayor, can you tell Chief Oscar to say a statement in Spanish, please, the Spanish media?
Yes. Gracias. Sí, verdaderamente estamos acá esta noche para.
Oh, okay.
There, which was when the first call came into ground. There's been no new, credible, specific threat anywhere in the Providence community.
With
having
respect, Mayor,
anything.
there was no threats made prior to the shooting, so how can people feel safe with that information?
Right.
The way in which we are trying to reassure our residents is through a noted, visible police presence throughout the community.
Yeah, the whole point is you don't know who it was and why they did what they did. You don't know whether they're going to go on a spree. You don't know whether they just started at the Brown University. You don't know jack shit. Y'all don't know jack shit because y'all can't tell nobody whatever. You think that's the suspect. But you said you had the suspect before. But you said you had the suspect prior to that. And then you ended up letting that person go. So how can we trust that this is the right person? How can we trust that this person ain't going to double back? And this is what the reporter is asking.
It's going to be hard for my city to feel safe going forward. This has shaken us. That will be true tomorrow. I suspect that'll be true the day after the general convicts someone. This is a process to restore a sense of safety. But we're going to take those step at a time. And the first step in what we're trying to provide today, and which we did well with the assistance of our neighbors, and we're grateful for it, is a noted, visible police presence to provide some confidence for families that are taking their kids to school, people who have to get to work a shift. You know, I spent lunchtime today walking down Thayer Street. And for our guests, Thayer Street is the commercial district right adjacent to campus. And I talked to one of the women at Antonio's, which some of you know is a pizza by the slice joint. And she said, you know, I didn't want to come to work today, but I needed to work. I needed to take the shift. And that's a very real thing happening in our community right now. But she noticed, and she appreciated the fact that there were patrolmen walking up and down Thayer Street. It made her feel a little bit better. And when she comes to work tomorrow, I hope she feels a little bit better after that. That's where we are right now in terms of restoring a sense of safety to the community.
I mean, and that's a good thing. I get it. But they do have a concern. Of course they have a concern. This is wild. You don't have any idea because we can't feel confident in the fact that, A, we don't know whether you guys are looking for the right guy, even though you say you got a picture of him. We don't know whether that's true because you picked out somebody before. Didn't you pick out somebody before and that was the wrong person? So now we're supposed to believe that you got the right person now. Or you got the right picture. But it is what it is. So it will unfold as the weeks go on. Okay. It only took 5 years to find the pipe bomber. It only took 5 years to find him, right? So it only took 5 years to find him. So we will wait for more updates when it comes to this Brown University guy. That's crazy that we living in a time where this kind of shit happening every day, violence every day. What's going on, y'all? What's going on? Hold on.
Shaking, I would say Hollywood, but really shaking the country because it's the death of popular actor and producer Rob Reiner and his wife. His son, their son, I should say, now in custody.
Right. And so this has kind of been developing new information coming in throughout the day. We want to bring in TMZ's Michael Babcock with the latest on this investigation. You guys are now reporting that it was their daughter that found her parents.
Morning, Shannon. Hi, Lauren. Yeah, just an incredibly sad and tragic story. We have, over the last few hours here, learned a good deal of new information about what allegedly happened, really starting Saturday night and then obviously into yesterday afternoon when, like you said, Shannon, at about 3:30, one of their other children, now their son Nick, who is 32 years old, he is currently in custody. Unclear exactly why he's being held, but it is in connection to the deaths of his mom and dad. But yesterday, he has a sister, and we have been told that about 3:30, she found her parents, called 911. Tragically, at that point, it was too late. There was nothing that could be done to save Rob or Michelle, sadly.
Yeah, I mean, this is just an awful story. We're looking more into Nick, the 32-year-old that was is being held right now.
Yeah.
I saw that he has had, years since like his 15th birthday, I think it said was the first time that he was taken to a rehab facility, and that it had been like dozens of visitors or dozens of visits rather to other rehabilitation facilities over the years as well. So, but at the same point, like him and his dad, they made a movie together. So like I look
Right.
at this and I'm like, clearly they had a connection. But this is just, I mean,
Yeah.
to see this turn of events is just sad.
No, I agree, Lauren. And you know, to your point, they did make a movie together. I was watching interviews that they did, you know, obviously after the tragic incident yesterday, and looking into his son, into Nick, and they had the project that they made that I think by accounts was pretty good and well received. They did a lot of interviews together. It seemed like they had a loving relationship. So to consider what might have happened, obviously we're not yet completely sure here, but to consider what might have happened, it's just awful. We were told, and it's relevant to their relationship and where they might have been right now. They went Saturday night to Conan O'Brien's holiday party. It's something he throws every year, and you get a lot of celebrity friends who go over and they have this big party where they all have a nice time. Well, Rob Reiner went this year with his wife, Michelle, but they also brought Nick with them. We have been told that there was a blowout fight at Conan O'Brien's party on Saturday night where it got so bad or so intense that Rob and Michelle left. Unclear if Nick left, but Rob and Michelle left the party because they got into this fight with Nick. And then obviously less than 24 hours later, we know, tragically what happened to them. And now, as there is some evidence to at least indicate that he may have had something to do with it, I think it kind of puts that argument into focus. And they were not in a good place. We've been told that they were at wit's end, for lack of a better term, with what to do with Nick and how to help him. And they loved their son very much, but they just didn't know where to turn. And it just paints a picture of a parents and a son who were really in crisis with one another.
Yeah.
I mean, after all those years of them helping, after all those years of doing what needed to be done as parents, giving them tough love, doing all of that, was he capable of doing whatever he did to his parents, or whatever they say he did to his parents? Because it's allegedly. We're saying allegedly. Was he capable of doing this to his parents? But they got a good indication that he is the suspect. This is TMZ. TMZ usually be on top of their shit.
That movie was called Being Charlie, and I bring it back up because it is Nick writing about himself based on his experience with addiction, with homelessness as well. He even told People magazine that he was homeless in Maine, homeless in New Jersey. He was homeless in Texas. He said he spent nights on the street, weeks on the street. And it does seem like that they would keep going to him and trying to get him help, trying to get him on the right page. Like, and I just think of so many parents who probably have been in this same boat where they're trying so hard to help their kid, but at the same point, you feel like you're just playing the same old story.
Right. And they had all the resources in the world, but I think it's an important message. It goes to show that money that's not all that matters. And he seemingly, had demons and battled real issues. And, Rob Reiner obviously had all the contacts, all the money, and still Nick was really struggling. And his bouts of homelessness, I think, paints that picture. It did seem like they were at times, at least, they were in a good place. And it seemed like, even hearing Nick talk about his dad and Rob and how Rob helped him with his addiction issues, it seemed like Nick had a lot of love for his father. But we know how these things can sometimes go. And
well, maybe he relapsed. Maybe it could have been a relapse. It could have been any number of things. We don't know what occurred, and we don't know why, because it takes suspect. You either got to be you got to be gone on something, or maybe they made you so angry that you just, I don't know. I couldn't imagine doing that to the parents. I couldn't imagine at all having to deal with that kind of thing. Rob Reiner was an icon. He was an icon in TV. Okay. He was not, and his political views had nothing to do with this. Probably if it was his son, it had nothing to do with that. I mean, Stand By Me, When Harry Met Sally. I used to love that. I used to love that movie. A Few Good Men, all that kind of stuff, right? And I get that he was active in politics. He was active with hating Donald Trump. He was active with, saying, he thought Donald Trump was mentally unfit to even be a president. Hey, I think the same thing, but that don't mean you deserve, to get broke off, right? I mean, I think he said something about Trump being a threat to democracy. So, and he was on that committee, that what is that called? That committee, that Russian hoax committee. He was on that committee too. So it was a lot of things. But either way it go, the man deserved to hear, to have the respect and have his death acknowledged, because he was such a giant in the acting community. He was such a giant. And then we hear the president say what the president said on True Social, which people, that's wild to me. Let me look. Let me show you. And everybody's seen it. Everybody's seen it. Everybody's seen it. Okay? Hey, Black America. Everybody has seen it. Everybody. This very sad thing. But then again, he said he had an unyielding and incurable affliction with a mild crippling disease known as Trump derangement syndrome. Trump had to bring it back to him. And this is why I say to people, you're not going to gaslight us about this president. This president is unfit for the role that he has. He's unfit for the role that he has. He was unfit back in 2018 when he got elected then. He was even more unfit when he got elected last year. This right here is one of the reasons why we, the people who said, hell no, we don't want this man to be our president. This right here, this kind of rhetoric he was saying back in 2018, he was saying the same goofy shit that he's saying now. This right here, and if people who are on that side and who were supporting the president say, "Oh no, he should have said that. It ain't that bad." No, this is why we said he is unfit for the office that he has. He acknowledged that the people at Brown University got killed. He acknowledged this is Donald Trump. This is a post that Donald Trump wrote, Black America. He wrote this post because Rob Reiner is a icon in the movie entertainment. He made movies like When Harry Met Sally, Stand By Me, Spinal Tap, Princess Bride, A Few Good Men. He made a whole bunch of hit movies. And Rob Reiner couldn't stand Donald Trump because he knew Donald Trump personally. He knew Donald Trump personally. Okay? He knew him personally. Okay? He said Trump was mentally unfit and the single most unqualified human being to ever assume the presidency. Okay? I mean, he said other things. Okay? He said we only need 1 year before we will enter into an autocracy under Trump's second term, meaning he needed to be stopped. Okay? That he needed to be stopped. Of course, he was a liberal Democrat. Of course, he advocated for civil rights, children's programs, social justice, all those things. But he criticized Donald Trump a lot because he knew Donald Trump personally. They hung out, they partied, they did all of those things back in the day. So he knew. So when Rob Reiner died, Donald Trump came out and said a very sad thing happened last night in Hollywood. Rob Reiner, a tortured and struggling but once very talented movie director and comedy star, has passed away together with his wife Michelle, reportedly due to the anger he caused others through his massive unyielding, and incurable affliction with a mild crippling disease known as Trump derangement syndrome. I hope y'all know that TDS ain't a thing, right? So this is the post. He was known to have driven people crazy by his raging obsession of President Donald Trump, with his obvious paranoia reaching new heights as the Trump administration surpassed all goals and expectations of greatness, and with the golden age of America upon us, perhaps like never before. May Rob and Michelle rest in peace. This is wild that you would get this unhinged tweet from a president. This is what makes him unfit to be the president. Things like this. And he has done this time and time again, which is why we said before he got elected again, don't elect that man. Please don't elect that man. You will never have any peace. We don't have any respect. There's no way somebody who is looking at this can say we have the respect of the world and our president does this kind of stuff. Nobody, no one. And this is all self-inflicted. This ire that he is getting from everyone is self-inflicted. All of it, self-inflicted. Okay? Nobody said anything. Everybody was giving out sorry, condolences, X, Y, and Z. Look, sir, Mr. President, I love you. I support you 100%. I do not support this. Highly inappropriate, and it puts us in their box. Tacky and tasteless. No. Your president put y'all in that tacky box a long time ago. Y'all just decided y'all was going to join him in that tacky damn box. As a MAGA, I have tried my best to support you every step of the way, but not this time. Every human, I repeat, every human deserves respect during something like this. I am ashamed that you posted that. You must humble yourself and ask for forgiveness in what was the very huge lapse in judgment. Terrible response to this tragedy. Unbecoming of the office of the president. I voted for you 3 times, but this is beyond the damn pale. The left celebrated Charlie Kirk's death. No, we didn't. We mourn Rob Reiner and his wife's death. We are not the same. Yes, you are. You're worse. Because you got the biggest amplifier. You have the biggest amplifier human being who's trash as hell, who would step all over what the fuck you just said right there. Your president, the leader in chief. This is the man that you all hold up as somebody respectable. The world is looking at us like, what the fuck is going on? Mr. President, the man and his wife were brutally murdered. If you cannot say something nice about them, it is best to not just say anything at all. This is the supporters. This is you all. This is MAGA. Okay? This is MAGA saying this to their president, that you're trash for saying this. We don't give a damn about Charlie. We're talking about Rob Reiner right now. This ain't hate. Fred, that's the problem. You don't see the trash-ass president that you have. We told you long ago, your president is trash. He's never going to be correct. He's never going to do the right thing. He's always going to be him first. It's always going to be him first. It's never going to be the American people first. We knew that. Us who ain't caught up in the deranged syndrome, we knew that. You all didn't know that. You all act like you don't see this. This is not hate. This is fact. Okay, but Biden never would have got on here and said that, and Obama never would have got on here and say that. Your president is trash for doing that. Just take the L for your trash president, okay? Your people even saying that, right? I love you, but this is seriously distasteful, Mr. President. Not classy. Except we expect better of you, Mr. President. No, you don't. We don't expect no better. We don't expect no better. Apparently, MAGA expect better, but we damn sure know that we shouldn't expect better from this president because he doesn't have it in him. This is a new low. Mr. President, with respect, this isn't how a Christian should speak about anyone, living or dead. We can oppose ideas without mocking a person's suffering or death. Let no corrupt word proceed out of your mouth. Ephesians 4:29. Okay. Oh, sir, please take this down. Please take this down. The people that subscribe to his page is telling him, you trash for this. You trash. Disgusting post. Do better. We know he ain't going to do better. We know he's not going to do better. Said, okay, boss, the man was murdered along with his wife. You took this one too far, sir. Of course he did. Of course he did. Okay. Of course he did. While all of this post was true, it could have been better to leave the TDS part out of the first post on the topic. No value in dunking here. Okay. I used to love Rob Reiner and couldn't listen to the guy after TDS set in. He was nuts, as so many are in the Hollywood. Still, such a sad ending for him and his wife. Okay. Please show some humility. Say you are sorry for your thoughts, words that undoubtedly hurt his fans and loved ones. I know you are doing a great job, and I am guessing you didn't actually write that post. Listen to that silly shit right there. I'm guessing that you didn't actually write this post. Yes, he did. Yes, he did. Yes, he did. And he was proud of it too, because he ain't been out there to say he wasn't going to do it. Okay? He ain't been out there to say nothing. With all due respect, sir, this post is very tacky. Please do not make his horrible death about you and your ego. Of course he's going to make it about his ego. Of course he's going to make it about himself. This is really off-putting and distasteful. Please delete or apologize. It is bad, very bad, very, very bad. Listen to this one right. Speaking ill of the dead, especially when killed by their own son, is something no human being with a moral compass ought to do. This post is inappropriate, Mr. President, for any of us, but especially for you. Sir, you are diminishing your standing in the world with posts such as this one, and the world is reading your post. Of course the world is reading your post. That's wild. It's wild that you would even say it. He doubled down on his post. Did he double down on the post since then? Let's see. Is that what you did? You doubled down on it? Okay. He didn't say, okay, I didn't see it. Let me see. Assaulting an officer, 20 years for assaulting an officer. Okay. So, as we move in the season, okay, we ain't seen none of that. Washington, Syria, he said something about Syria. Okay. Proud of U.S. merchant. Okay. 2 hours, efforts. Okay. So, maybe he doubled down on it, but the people are not having it. And nobody is accepting that. And the president said this on his official tweet. When people can read all of this, and you thought it was proud to say this right here, you thought it was a good thing, and then you thought we were going to be accepting of this? I don't understand what's going on with your president. Well, I understand. I just don't want to say it. I mean, I just don't want to say it because this is terrible. Okay. And now the world sees that this is what you say. Okay. Because he said to this Australian, Wait a minute. Hold on. Let me go back. Because he said, let me go to home. Donald Trump. Let me go to Donald Trump. Because sometimes you see, you can get caught up in all this goofy shit with them on this True Social, and then you don't have the right, you got to filter all these people out. Okay? Home. Give me home. Okay? And I'm looking for President Trump. Okay, search. Okay. Donald J. Trump. Let's see. The White House. Did he say anything? The most influential man? No. It's an embarrassment today. Today is an embarrassment. Okay? But it's okay. Hold on. Let me find it. Let me play something while I find it. Because when I saw that, I was like, no way. Ain't no way that president did that right there. I said, ain't no way. And sure enough, come to find out when I saw it, I said, there's something wrong with you. There's something wrong with
These are the 8 wars that Trump claimed to have ended during his address to the United Nations this fall. Let's take a look at each one of them. Number 1, Cambodia and Thailand. This was a 5-day armed conflict that ended with a ceasefire agreement in July. Today, Thailand launched airstrikes against Cambodia. Thailand's army says the strikes were in retaliation for an attack that killed a Thai soldier. Number 2, the Democratic Republic of Congo and Rwanda. On Thursday, at the newly christened Donald J. Trump United States Institute of Peace, the president participated in a signing ceremony for a peace agreement with the leaders, the presidents of both countries. That war has continued, however, in part because Thursday's deal was never signed by the leading rebel coalition that's actually doing most of the fighting. And just today, a bomb explosion killed more than 30 people in eastern Congo. War number 3, Ethiopia and Egypt. This is not actually a war. It's a long-running diplomatic dispute about a major Ethiopian dam project on the Nile. War number 4, Serbia and Kosovo. This is another supposed war that didn't actually occur during Trump's presidency. Number 5, Israel and Hamas. The situation in Gaza right now is tenuous. Attacks there have continued since the October ceasefire deal. War number 6, Israel and Iran. This too was a truly hot war, both countries launching missiles against each other for 12 days this June. Number 7, India and Pakistan. This conflict heated up after a terrorist attack in April. It led to days of drone and missile strikes. The Indian government has denied that the U.S. played a role in negotiating the ceasefire. That's number 8, Armenia and Azerbaijan. It's a conflict that goes back decades. In August, the leaders of Armenia and Azerbaijan met at the White House with President Trump. They signed a declaration to seek peace, but importantly, a final peace agreement has yet to happen.
We have a major news report right now. According to Reuters, Trump administration officials are terrified about possibly being prosecuted and targeted by the International Criminal Court. And the Trump administration is now placing significant pressure on the ICC to amend the Rome Statute to give Donald Trump immunity, along with other top Trump officials. Specifically, the administration, according to Reuters, wants the ICC to amend the Rome Statute, which is what it was founded on, to explicitly bar all investigations or prosecutions of Donald Trump and his top officials. Remember, Trump has immunity under this Supreme Court in the United States. He doesn't have immunity in the ICC. And while the United States is not a party to the ICC, prosecutions can still happen of U.S. officials. The ICC is able to prosecute Trump and other non-member individuals under certain circumstances, and that could prevent him from traveling to any country that is a member of the ICC. And while the Trump administration is saying that if the ICC does not give him immunity, then they will slap new sanctions on the ICC. This is major. Spread the word. Follow along for more.
Hold on. That's wild.
Of Republicans have denounced your statement on Truth Social after the murder of Rob Reiner. Do you stand by that post?
Well, I wasn't a fan of his at all. He was a deranged person as far as Trump is concerned. He said he knew it was false. In fact, it's the exact opposite, that I was a friend of Russia, controlled by Russia. You know, it was the Russia hoax. He was one of the people behind it. I think he hurt himself in career-wise. He became like a deranged person, Trump derangement syndrome. So I was not a fan of Rob Reiner at all in any way, shape, or form. I thought he was very bad for our country.
Yet and still, he's still talking trash about Rob Reiner. He's still talking, and he said, fuck it, I'm not going to take back what I said. I'm going to double down on it. And he double downs on it. And he knows that he's in the wrong, but he won't apologize for it.
It's a roller coaster, and other times are more difficult than others. And it seemed like they were going through a real rough patch here. And I'm sure we'll learn more as the hours and the days and weeks go by, but it's just an incredibly sad story. You can tell how beloved he was by the reaction of other folks in Hollywood and just people who enjoyed watching his projects over the years. It's just so sad.
Yeah, we're already hearing about, you know, different actors, comedians, people who worked with him, even showing up to the scene. I read that
Billy
Billy
Crystal
Crystal
went
was
last
We have
there.
video.
Yeah.
of
Larry
him.
David.
Yeah, we have video where you can see actually Billy Crystal, like it's scene video, like where, you know, we're there
Right.
just getting video of police at the
Yeah.
home, blocking things off. There he is. There's Billy Crystal right there.
Right.
Walking with his wife.
Right.
I'm
I think they had to
assuming
see
all-
it for themselves.
Yeah,
They
and
were
do
just
they
in shock.
I think do they live in that area? I mean, this is Brentwood. It's I mean,
Yeah.
it's celebrity after celebrity. in a lot
Yeah,
of these houses,
it's so strange because this is obviously such a high profile case now, and this is about a mile away from where Nicole Brown Simpson and Ron Goldman were murdered, you know, in the 90s. So you've had these two violent, tragic incidences so close to one another
Right.
in what otherwise is, you know, one of the most beautiful and wealthy neighborhoods that you could ever, you know, want to live in. It's such a beautiful place, and it's just been marred by this violence, unfortunately.
And the thing is, you never hear people condemning
Follow
this
along
stuff.
for more.
Breaking news out of the White House, out of the Oval Office, where Donald Trump just announced that airstrikes will be starting on land in Venezuela very soon. As you know, we noticed the movement of the aircraft carrier, the Gerald Ford. It was repositioning in a way that was very similar to how it moved right before the strikes on Iran. We also saw Air Force Communications aircraft getting ready for a potential land strike. And Donald Trump said that these land strikes are coming very soon. My theory is that he is timing this sort of with the release of the Epstein files, which, as you know, are next Friday. So that's just a week away that the Epstein files are due to be released, and he's already talking about bombing Venezuela. So I think it's pretty clear that there's a lot of F-35As, there's a lot of bombers.
I can't wait to find out. When we're going to bomb Venezuela so we can be distracted from the Epstein files. Anything to distract us from the Epstein file. Anything to distract us from the Epstein files. There's always going to be something that will come between us and the Epstein files. Always.
Deported to El Salvador and is now back in the United States to face human smuggling charges. He's pleaded not guilty. Since then, the Trump administration has unsuccessfully tried to deport him to various African countries. Judges are able to order detained migrants released if their removal from the U.S. does not appear imminent.
Tax cuts that mostly go to billionaires such as yourself, while throwing 16 million people off their health care coverage.
Well, I would dispute that 16 million. I think you're conflating a lot of numbers.
No, it's the, excuse me, reclaiming my time. Those aren't my numbers. Just to be clear, as you know, it's the Congressional Budget Office projection.
We have some news right now. Denmark officially says the United States is a national security risk. The first ally of the United States to classify us as a national security risk to them. This report was released by the Danish intelligence service and said that the world's great powers are, quote, increasingly prioritizing their own interests and use force to achieve their goals. And the report, for the first time, named the United States as because of, quote, uncertainty about the role of the United States as a guarantor of European security. The United States uses economic power, including in the form of threats of high tariffs, to enforce its will and no longer excludes the use of military force even against allies. And now, the United States is officially classified as a security threat to Denmark. Remember, there's been the whole back and forth over Greenland and Greenland's future. No one's really talking about that anymore. But this is a pretty significant development. Spread the word. Full updates on my Substack, linked in bio. Subscribe for free. Follow along to stay updated on all the news that you need to know about. More to come very soon.
Recently at the White House Christmas tree lighting, the president said every child is specifically made in the image of God. But 48 hours before making this public statement, he made another public statement. He said Somali Americans are garbage. He said their country stinks and told them to go back where they came from. A couple of thoughts on this one. First, This is not mere hypocrisy. Hypocrisy is when actions don't match words. This is white supremacy, dressed in Sunday clothing. It's the belief that some men, historically white men, sit at the top of a hierarchy that God never built. And when that imaginary throne begins to show cracks, the response is always predictable. Demonize the vulnerable, dehumanize the stranger, and baptize all of the hatred in God's name. I want you to notice how words like vermin, garbage, poison, disease, and animals are never for the powerful, but always those on the underside. Slaveholders, Nazis, colonizers, Christian nationalists have all used this pattern, pretending God gave them some license for their cruelty. Second thought, Mr. President, the only garbage here is the rhetoric coming out of your mouth. As my mother used to say, you need to wash your mouth out with soap. And while you're at it, stop using Jesus' name as a stamp of approval on your racism and prejudice. That's not faith. It's actually blasphemy wrapped up in the American flag. Christ is the Puerto Ricans, the Haitians, the Afghans, and the Somali community. You cannot celebrate the arrival of Jesus and then tell Christ people to go back to where they came from. Hear me. If you do not love them, you do not love him. Third thought, to our Somali neighbors and every immigrant who have heard these egregious words. You are beloved. You are needed. You bear God's image in ways this nation desperately needs to see. You are not a threat. You are a gift. You make this country richer, kinder, and more whole. May you know deep in your bones, it has always, always been good to be you.
Did y'all hear what Melanie Stansbury found in the Epstein files? Watch this.
I'm going to be honest with you guys. I actually went through the files this weekend in depth. Donald Trump is not only named over and over in them, it is discussed this trial in which he was accused of raping a 13-year-old at Epstein's house. There is extensive discussions about a subpoena of Donald Trump in one of Jeffrey Epstein's cases in which he was accused for rape and sexual abuse. He was subpoenaed and gave a deposition in that case. There is extensive discussion between Donald Trump, Ghislaine Maxwell, and Mr. Wolf about not only Trump coming to his house, but Epstein says in these emails that he has photographs of Trump with girls.
Yeah, you're done, Dookie. Done. There ain't no wiggling your way out of this one. So I hope that you made your plans to flee to Argentina, because that's the only way you ain't gonna face consequences for all this bullshit. This is just the beginning of the end for you and everybody in your administration. Melanie said Dookie Booty is all up and through these Epstein files. Once everybody sees you for the PDF that you are, you'll lose all fucking credibility, and everybody will start to turn on you. Watch. These bitches about to start flipping like a pillow on a hot summer night. Everybody except for Clay Higgins, of course. But it's too late for them, because they going down with you for all the bullshit they done did for these past fucking 11 months.
It's a very move on your part to keep avoiding Dean.
Then debate me.
People like you.
Let me on the mic. Let me on the mic.
Get Dean on the mic. That's the whole reason I came up here.
Thank you.
Move for you to keep avoiding him.
This was Dean's whole plan. I'm going to bring these people here. Woo.
We've been told by every single
I don't care if they immigrated here legally or not. You will never be able to convince me that a piece of paper is more valuable than a person's life. You'll never be able to convince me that a piece of paper is justification for throwing somebody in a cage, denying them food and water, tearing them apart from their family, and then deporting them. That's sick. Oh, well, the criminals, the legal way, the this and that. The legal way? You know what's happening when people are showing up to their court hearings, the mandated court hearings, when they do it the legal way? They're getting detained and deported, okay? And you want to talk about criminals? Look who's in the White House. Okay, let's talk about that. And oh, well, the benefits, and they take all of this, and they do all of that. Undocumented people can't get benefits. You know who gets the most benefits in this country? The people running it. Okay? Every single time that a working class person gets mad at another immigrant, a billionaire throws a celebration on their yacht. Okay? The minute that you start caring more about what a piece of paper says than somebody's life is the minute that I stop caring about what you have to think. If you think what's going on is okay right now, I hope the violence and pain that you're inflicting on hundreds of thousands of people is returned to you 100-fold.
They can't stand it. The whole point is you need to take the room to temperature of the country. The temperature of the country was we wanted to see immigration. We wanted to see you take control of immigration and give people a positive reason to stay. Weed out the bad people, give these people a legal way into the country. But now it's come down to some kind of we about to be overrun by the brown people, so let's try to get rid of the brown people. They're already here. I'm not saying everybody deserves to be here. What I am saying is doing it the way you have been doing it is wrong. Do y'all notice that Caroline Leavitt, the press secretary, the lady who comes out and talks every day, you notice that her sister-in-law is out of jail, right? You notice that her sister-in-law is not in jail anymore. Her sister-in-law or her ex-sister-in-law, right? Ex-sister-in-law who was detained and deported down to Louisiana or down somewhere, she's out of jail because she's out of detention because she was on TV the other day. So they were able to get her out of detention, and she belonged all the way to hell in Brazil. But they were able to get her out of detention because she's family. Okay? Because she's family. We don't mean my family. I don't want my family to get caught up in it. Your family can get caught up in it, but not mine.
No one is illegal on stolen land.
Every economic problem that we're facing in this country right now, student loan debt being just out of control, the government shutdown, SNAP benefits being cut, health insurance premiums about to go through the roof, your rent going up, your pay stagnating, groceries just being astronomical, is because reparations were never paid after the Civil War. Let me explain. After the Civil War, the Union, the North won and the South was defeated, but the South was never punished. The Confederacy lived on in the ideology of the people, of the white people of the South. Reparations were never paid to Black Americans. They were never really, truly given the opportunity to pick themselves up by their bootstraps, to rise up and become equal members of this country, equal citizens. They've been fighting for their equality since then. They've never actually truly achieved it. So when white people hear a promise from Donald Trump et al. That we're gonna run the country like a business, to them that sounds appealing. They're like, oh yeah, because you know what? I'm a business owner. I own this country because I'm white. When Black and brown people hear, well, we're going to run the country, run the government like a business, they understand what that means because they've been dealing with it for centuries. White people think that they are on the side of the owners, the masters, but they're not. Most white people have more in common with the Black and brown people that they look down upon. They are closer to them in the economic tax bracket than they are to the white billionaires whose asses they kiss. But listen to them glazing billionaires, especially on this app. I make $50,000 a year, but I have more in common with Jeff Bezos than I do with George Floyd. Bullshit! The only reason the lie of let's run this country like a business appealed to you is because you thought you would benefit. And now here you are. Now here you are understanding that when they say we're going to run this country like a business, that means they're going to profit off of your ass. That means that if you take $100,000 loan out to go to college, you will be in debt to the federal government until the day you fucking die. You borrowed 100 grand, prepare to repay 300 grand because they're running the government like a business now. And guess what? You're a customer, not an owner. The government exists to serve us, not to profit off of us. And we will continue to have these problems until y'all get your fucking minds right.
We have some news right now. There is growing concern within Republican circles after last night's speech where Donald Trump was supposed to talk about affordability, and he really didn't land the message. He talked about how he wants more people from not shithole countries, despite for years trying to say that he never uses that phrase, and then proceeded to talk about how he wanted people coming in from places like Denmark, not Somalia, repeating racist tropes. He talked about how young girls in the United States of America should not have to have dozens of dolls and that they could have one or two dolls. And while the president was supposed to talk about affordability to shift the narrative, and yet his affordability message was anything but. And that has concerned folks on Capitol Hill going into the new year, where they need a president to talk about affordability because they know that if affordability isn't being talked about, then they're going to lose in 2026. And so that's where things stand right now. It's a pretty interesting shift. Spread the word, follow along, stay up to date on all the news that you need to know about. I'll have much more to come very soon, so stay tuned.
You know the most powerful law in immigration in the United States that gets you a green card in the U.S. without having to leave and without having to necessarily get married to a U.S. citizen. Nobody talks about it, and many lawyers don't even know about it. It's called Section 245I. It's one of the most powerful laws that Congress has ever passed. Let certain people who entered the country without inspection or others who overstayed their time on their visa to adjust their status in the United States, if they were physically present in the U.S. on December 21st, 2000, had something filed in the system before April 30th, 2001, or had anything filed in the system prior to January 14th, 1998, even if the case was denied, even if you were just a child on one of your parents' applications, and if the person who sponsored you is now dead, you can adjust your status based on new filings today. Get your green card, get your work permit, legalize yourself. Here's some real-life examples. Your uncle, your father's brother, filed for him back in the 90s. Everyone got their green card, but you aged out. You're grandfathered under 245I, even if you entered without inspection. A job filed your labor certification back in 2000. Then the employer went out of business, never completed your case. You're grandfathered under 245I. You got married in 1995. Your spouse filed for you. He or she never showed up to the interview, but it was a real marriage and you can prove it. You're grandfathered under 245I. You have to pay a $1,000 penalty fee, but big deal, it'll be the best $1,000 you ever spent. You still must qualify for a green card today. The 245I allows you to adjust your status without having to leave the U.S. in any other visa category, as long as you qualify.
Did you guys see that Trump is trying to turn his birthday into a federal holiday? This is exactly what he wants. He doesn't want you to think about the fact that he's attempting to tear away your constitutional rights. He wants to distract you with funny bullshit headlines so you don't think about rising grocery prices, energy prices, healthcare costs, childcare costs, tuition costs, and hope that you laugh away the day instead of paying attention to what's happening. This has been the cornerstone of both his business and political strategy for decades. Take the media's attention away from his controversies using random, seemingly innocuous, and often funny bullshit. Steve Bannon, the former head of far-right news outlet and misinformation machine Breitbart, and Trump's key strategist at the beginning of his first term, laid it out clear and simple.
I said, all we have to do is flood the zone. Every day we hit them with three things. They'll bite on one and we'll get all of our stuff done. Bang, bang, bang.
Anyway, let's talk about the actual story. So the National Park Service changed their schedule for free admission days. They removed Juneteenth, the holiday celebrating the end of slavery in America, and Martin Luther King Jr. Day, and replaced them with June 14th, Flag Day, and coincidentally, Trump's birthday. Back in February, New York Congresswoman Claudia Tenney formally introduced a bill to change June 14th to be called Trump's birthday and Flag Day and make it a public holiday. This is another move in Trump's promise to end the woke agenda. You know, because civil rights and ending slavery are woke. The crazy thing is, this is actually what being woke originally meant, opening your eyes to the systems of racial injustice, the overt and subversive, during the civil rights era. In tandem with other moves by the Republican Party, gerrymandering congressional districts would just so happen to get struck down by courts on the grounds of racial discrimination, villainizing Black Lives Matter protests as violent riots while defending the January 6th insurrectionists, using their Supreme Court majority to whittle away at the laws the civil rights movement fought to enact. Yeah, it's attention grabbing. It feeds his ego. It's probably definitely racist. But above all, it's another step toward authoritarianism, because Trump can say and do all he wants, but Congress is going along with it because they're too afraid to fight back.
And that's the problem. They don't want to fight back. That's why I say the Republicans stand for nothing. You stand for nothing because you allow this. You allow this. All of this could go away. All of this could go away if the Republican Congress said, we're not going along with the bullshit. All of it could go away.
Top news story tonight begins with a very telling moment. You're going to see it right now as Republican Congresswoman's Iowa town hall boiled over with voter anger regarding health care costs that even led to heckling.
This was a town hall held, I think, last week.
When the Affordable Care Act was passed, the reason why because lower cost, greater transparency. So be a leader. On the Affordable Care Act or the Unaffordable Care Act, there was no change. What's your plan? It's minimal number of people. It is. How much are prices go up? How much?
What's up, everybody? Major retired Richard Ojeda here. And Republicans lived by Donald the Dumb. Now they're going to die by Donald the Dumb. Because the same monster they fed, protected, and worshiped like a golden calf is now dragging their entire party straight into the ditch.
Yep. Advisors to President Trump are now acknowledging that they have an affordability problem. Polls do show Americans are blaming the president for how they feel about the economy, for their economic woes. Polls that the president just days ago called fake.
The point is the president lied to the American public. The president lied to the American public and said he could control affordability. He could get the prices down. He has not done that. He is not trying to do that. That's the shebang. This is what we don't get. This is what this is what needs to be hammered home. He cannot get the prices down because the tariffs are in the way and because he gave that huge tax break to the rich people. He cannot get the tax. He cannot bring prices down. He lied to the American people. That was the thing. He lied. That means nothing. That means nothing. He's only been in 11 months. That means nothing. He implemented the tariffs the minute he got off the goddamn boat. He implemented those tariffs. He don't have nothing to do with gas. I already said that. Don't have nothing to do with gas. President don't control gas prices. That's the first thing they holler about. Gas prices, gas prices, gas. President don't control nothing to do with gas. He can influence, but he don't got nothing to do with it. 11 months. 11 months from the minute he got into office, he has been lying to the American public. Okay? Nobody can put anything in the chat that says what that big, beautiful bill did for you at all. Nobody can put anything in that in the chat that says what it did.
Costs have gone up, just like utilities. Most blame Trump. I'm going to leave this up for a second. When you see the 59% blame Trump, by definition, that includes people who voted for Trump. They were hoping for better. They might have liked what he said last year, but they blame him here on planet Earth in reality land because he's done very little to bring down the prices. He doesn't even hold events or talk about it, let alone do anything about it. Here's where the public is in their own words.
I work 2 jobs right now, and I feel like I can't even afford, what I'm trying to pay for.
Look at the price I paid for this just a year ago. Welcome to that just don't make sense spending money on. The price of beef is wow.
These grocery store prices got me thinking Thanksgiving about to be spaghetti.
The way that groceries are grocerying, the way that gas prices are gassing.
$3.50 a gallon? Bruh.
I don't know if I'll be able to survive this.
A GOP pollster, an actual Republican insider, is sounding the alarm, saying everything's falling apart as Trump's numbers start tanking.
Yeah,
My thoughts are the Republicans are going to lose because they don't understand politics. They're still playing yesterday's political game, which is a game about basically two warring sides, two warring ideological sides locked in a complete stalemate. And it's not like that anymore. And the polling tells us this. Like, everybody thinks that today's children will be worse off than their parents. The numbers are just absolutely abysmal. So something like the music finally stopped is basically where we're at. And you have the Republican Party that's just like, well, you know, they'll be fine just voting for us because nobody likes socialism. Well, we're getting to the point where people are considering socialism.
And every Republican knows exactly why. Trump inflation, Trump chaos, Trump corruption, Trump fatigue. The bill has come due. And you can feel the panic on all of them. You can smell it within the GOP. And the emergency meeting with his cabinet after some Epstein emails were released, well, that proves it. Because
see, wait a minute. Let's be clear. You be hearing this we be hearing this damn argument in the chat. Biden's prices was X, Y, and Z. Trump's prices was X, Y, and Z. Here's the difference. Biden wasn't on goddamn TV every day saying bullshit. Biden's prices may have been where they were, X, Y, and Z. But Biden wasn't on motherfucking TV talking 2-point crazy every other day. We at least can count on Biden not acting a fool every day. But we know for a fact it's going to be chaos, toxic shit every day with this fucking president. Every fucking week we have ran across bullshit with this president. Invading countries. Blowing up shit. Stealing tankers. Lying to the American public. Breaking down the White House. Going on rallies. Calling people garbage. Deporting people. Every day this president has done something else to fuck us over. We don't care about Biden being on TV. We don't care. Go take your ass in the bedroom and don't say nothing. With Biden, we didn't have to deal with this fucking chaos every day. Biden had high prices. Trump had high prices. But we didn't have to deal with this bullshit every day. We didn't have to deal with our president embarrassing us every day. Every day. Every day we get embarrassed by this president. We didn't get embarrassed by Biden every day. We didn't get embarrassed by Biden probably hardly at all. But I guarantee you, we got embarrassed by this president. We can cry. We're going to cry. We're going to continue to cry because your shitty president keep doing shitty shit.
they tied themselves to a man who thought Sharpies could change the path of a hurricane, who asked if the Purple Heart came with cash inside, who tried to overthrow his own government, and who now is dragging their
No, it ain't a matter of saying the news saying it is. What your president did today should have turned every goddamn person against him today. What he did with what he did to Rob Reiner, what he said to Rob Reiner. Every person should have pushback for this president. I don't even know what the fuck you talking about, Virgil. Every person should have had pushback for what your president said today. Embarrassed all across the goddamn world. Because he can't get out of his own goddamn way. And he can't think of nobody but his goddamn self. So why y'all keep thinking he gonna put America first? He ain't put America first yet. Not yet. Not once. Ever has he put America first.
poll numbers down like an anchor tied around their ankles.
Donald Trump had the perfect platform. He was given the biggest mandate the Republican Party.
Sure was, and he blew it. No, your president was the biggest embarrassment. Your president is the biggest embarrassment. Let's be clear on that. Today, if no other day, he's the most embarrassing president
he's ever going to have. All he had to do was come in and literally just reform government and smash the oligarchy. And he's not gonna.
GOP strategists are admitting that Trump is driving Republican support into the floor. And the new polling analysis, it's brutal. That revolt haunting the GOP It's real because Trump's inflation rhetoric, the same nonsense he peddles at rallies, is now backfiring. Voters are blaming him, not Biden. His numbers are collapsing to Biden's level because the MAGA fantasy economy never existed. And here's the part that the MAGA cult doesn't want to admit. They did this to themselves. They let Trump define them.
Yes, they did. They let Trump define them. Now we got to get rid of that man because he's an embarrassment. He's an embarrassment. And anybody that defends this behavior that happened today is an embarrassment.
They let Trump speak for them. They let Trump hijack the party, wipe his feet on the Constitution, and treat democracy like one of his unpaid contractors. Now the base is fracturing. Independents are running, and the rest of the country is saying, we've seen this movie. No thanks. This isn't just a bad time for Republicans. It's the beginning of the reckoning.
But clearly some of them, I think, just expected more out of a Republican Party and are not excited to go to the polls. Democrats are excited to go vote because they hate Trump, and that motivates them. On the right, unfortunately, what motivates them is smashing the oligarchy and burning the government down. And the right is not doing that. And so the left's going to get a chance. The pendulum is going to swing back, and this might be the last chance. I don't know. We got 355 days to an election, and the Republicans are going to lose this one.
The pollster is absolutely correct. Everything is falling apart. And the GOP can't blame anybody else. Not Biden, not the media, not the deep state. This is the consequence of worshiping a man who can't spell consequence. They lived by Donald. Now they're going to suffer by Donald. That is absolute pure insanity. And that's the real story here. It's not just poll numbers sliding into the toilet or GOP strategists finally admitting the ship is sinking. It's the country, real people hitting their breaking point. America is sick and tired of the hate, tired of the homophobia, tired of the transphobia, tired of the xenophobia, sick and friggin' tired of the nonstop anger, the cruelty, the chaos, and the toxic energy it takes to keep this whole ball of dysfunction rolling.
Run it down, brother. Run it down. They seem to think we love Trump. Trump is amazing. No, people are dumb. People are done with this president. He's cooked. He's done. With most of us, he's done.
People are exhausted. They've stretched thin. They're working 2 jobs and still feel like they're drowning. And while Trump is out here chasing revenge fantasies and tearing down fake enemies, the rest of the country is begging for something simple, a life that doesn't feel like a fight every single day. And if you really want to know just how fed up people are, take a look around. You don't need another poll or another pundit. You can see it happening in real time. The MAGA mentality is deficient. These folks are lost in the sauce. Think about it. The people still following Trump are the ones he bragged about loving because they're undereducated. And he relates to them on a 3rd grade level. That's not an insult. That's what he said. That's why they cling to him. They're not educated. That's what the Trumpaloon movement is. And right now, they're hitting the wall. They're either too stubborn to admit that they were wrong, or they're slipping into hiding because the consequences of their choices are staring them in the face. That's why when you look at the long lines stretching out from the food banks all over the country, you don't see the red hats anymore, because deep down, they know. They know wearing a MAGA hat in a food line is like holding up a sign that says, "My stupidity helped put us here." And that's exactly why they are where they are. Pure, unfiltered stupidity. And the other part of this story, the part nobody, the GOP, and though the GOP wants to talk about, is mortgages today practically mean paying for your house for the rest of your life. If you die before it's paid off, your family is the one left holding the bag. The same goes for retirement. Everyone deserves the right to work 20 years and actually retire, not grind until their last breath. But look at what's happening now. Talk of 50-year mortgages, 15-year car leases, debt that stretches on forever. If you got a 50-year mortgage and a 15-year car lease stacked on top of today's grocery prices and gas prices, you are never going to get out from under that stress. And while Scott Bessent is out here acting like Americans are just overreacting, like people are exaggerating their pain or simply don't understand how wonderful the economic plan supposedly is, that attitude is exactly the problem. It's the same condescending mindset we see all through the Trump administration. If you're hurting, it must be your fault. If you can't afford groceries, you must be confused. If you say the economy is crushing you, well, you must not get it. But Americans do get it. They get it perfectly. They're not misreading anything. They're living it. And the Ari Melber panel made that crystal clear. And this is where the real sickness shows itself. Because while these cabinet members, who we all know are completely unqualified, get up on TV and talk down to the American people like we're imagining our own suffering, it's just unreal. Because there are real voices out there crying out. Everyday people who matter. People who are supposed to be the heartbeat of this country. The poor, the working class, the marginalized, all shouting the same thing. We can't breathe out here in this huddled mass of inhumanity that the Trump administration is unleashing on all of us. But somehow their voices never make it into the rooms where the decisions are being made. And there are so many Trump faithful out there who don't know the difference between indicted and indoctrinated. People with third grade educations, anger issues, codependency issues, all kinds of problems on top of failing high school and living in squalor while sending all their money to these billionaires. Clowns like Scott Bessent walk around convinced that there's some kind of genius. But look at the real picture. What he's selling is a scam. There are millions of people struggling to pay rent, struggling to feed their kids, struggling just to make it through life. That's why people are out in these No Kings rallies across this country. Right. This last election felt like a breath of hope. Like maybe we actually had a say. Like maybe we could still make a difference. And now with the swearing in of Adelita Grijalva and all of these emails and revelations coming out, maybe there really is hope to flip this thing in the midterms, to win the presidency in 2028 and erase this damn orange stain that's been on this place in history like a wart on the ass of America. And that is an absolute fact.
I couldn't have said it better myself. It is what it is. Today was a new low for this president. That's all I'm saying. Today was a new low, and anybody that supports that guy should be embarrassed. He should be embarrassed, and there should be plenty of pushback against such a thing. Any kind of pushback against this president. I'm sorry. It's embarrassing. But this is Nick Fuentes on Erika Kirk and her town hall. Because I'm done bashing the president. The president know the garbage that he did. The president knows what he did and what he said today. But Trump loves you. Yeah, okay. Trump don't love you. If you're a supporter of Trump, Trump don't love you.
Then, first of all, how about this Candace Owens, huh? I'm going to complain a little bit about her again. Because, look, I'm hooked now. I'm in it. I'm into the drama now. So now Erika said, you're never going to believe what happened. So now Erika got on the show with Barry Weiss, and she said, it's so crazy. So Erika Kirk does a show with Barry Weiss on CBS. It's like a town hall. It's going to air this weekend. They published the clip. And Barry Weiss says to Erika, she goes, what do you have to say to Candace Owens and these people that are pushing conspiracy theories? And Erika, like, dude, oh my. And the Oscar goes to Erika, her face, her expression hardens, and she goes, stop. And we're supposed to be like, oh, whoa, she means business. No, you stop. No. You need to stop. Did you guys see the clip? So she's on with the Israeli spy, Barry Weiss, after she's grabbing J.D. Vance's ass. And Barry Weiss goes, so what do you have to say to Candace Owens, who built her business lying about blah, blah? And Erika Kirk makes this like face. She goes, stop. That's it. And we're supposed to be like, Saint Olga in the flesh. The battle cry of the cries of the widow. Like, come on now. It's enough already. It's enough. It's really bad at this point. Like, you're not a good actress. This is not a compelling performance. Nobody is buying this. And look, I am not a Candace Owens fan at all, as you know. That doesn't mean that this does not stink. Like, this performance does not stink.
Bro, Nick is so funny. Like, you can say whatever you want about him, but you can't deny that he...
Just drop it. Can you just be fucking normal? Because it's obvious that you're acting. It's obvious that you are putting on a facade. And that is hurting your credibility. And
that's what I told y'all last night. Erika Kirk is so fake. First of all, she's very unfeminine. Second of all, everything she does seems to be fake. Did she really love Charlie? We don't know. We can't tell. Because everything comes across as fake. Okay? Everything she does comes across as fake. So we can't tell whether she's telling the truth or not. It's just really creepy.
It's hard for anyone to be able to take their side when that is what they are offering. You know, the first week, nobody could say anything because you can't. When she did her speech on the Charlie Kirk show, and then she did the memorial, and then she was on the show again, and nobody could say anything. But now, here we are on the second wave, second leg of the tour. The handkerchief is back and better than ever. The handkerchief is actually sort of disappointed. Erika Kirk's handkerchief was recently beaten out by the artificial intelligence founders for Time Person of the Year. Should have gotten it. The handkerchief was the runner-up, so it was a little bit disappointing, kind of crushing. You know, they thought they had it, but didn't get it. The handkerchief is back and bigger and better than ever. It is making an appearance. We are on the second leg. We are on the 67th leg of the Erika Kirk tour. And honestly, though, it's just like, who's buying that? You remember when she gave the speech and everybody said, I've seen that expression before. It's like Saint Olga. Don't mess with the... Come on. What is this now? What is this? It's like a Disney movie. Now what? She's the badass chick. She's going to be doing acrobatics and she's going to be flipping guys over her head. They think it's like a movie. It's one of these like girl power movies. She's with Barry Weiss. She goes, stop. And we're supposed to say, shiver me timbers. This is terrifying. Oh my gosh. Scary. It's not scary. You're not tough. That shit is not tough. Erika Kirk is not tough. No one is buying the Candace Owens bullshit. No one is buying the Erika Kirk bullshit. In truth, at the end of the day, everyone needs to acknowledge women cannot be in politics. Marjorie Greene, Candace Owens, Erika Kirk, they are all fake. They are all crashing out. None of them can handle it. None of them have a clue what is going on in the country. They all need to retire, respectfully. Candace Owens needs to hang it up. No more show. You're crazy. Erika Kirk, you need to retire. Drop the act. Let a man run Turning Point. You want to be about traditional gender roles? Let a man run Turning Point. You go and grieve. Let's just stop with the choreography. Marjorie Greene, she saw herself out. She's going to milk it for attention for a little longer. Then hopefully we never have to hear about her again.
Bro, oh my God. Why do I have to...
But the lesson is very simple. No women in politics. Anyway, so I saw that. But then Candace Owens replied. So Erika went on Barry Weiss and said, stop. And here's where Candace fucks up. When Charlie Kirk got shot and Candace Owens mounted the campaign, did anybody remember what she said? She said, the only person who can tell me to stop is Erika Kirk. She said, I will not stop until I get to the truth, and I will not listen to anybody other than Erika Kirk. She said, that's the only person. If Erika tells me to stop, I'll stop. Well, Erika Kirk said, stop. So what does Candace Owens say? She said, well, no. She goes, no, I'm not going to stop. You said I'm lying. I'm not lying. So now I'm not going to stop. And you go, okay. So what is this really about, actually? Like, let's even just take a step back. This is Charlie Kirk's wife. This is the mother of his children. These are all of his best friends. These are all of his colleagues. Now, it doesn't mean that these people are beyond reproach. But at a certain point, you have to say, are you doing this for the right reasons? Is that even justifiable at this point? Because if the idea is, I'm leading the charge because I love Charlie so much that I want to figure out what happened, do you think that Charlie would want you attacking his wife directly? The mother of his kids and all of his friends? These people like Andrew Colvett, Posobiec, Blake Neff, the other guy, Tyler Boyer. These were Charlie's best friends and colleagues. Erika Kirk is his wife and the mother of his kids. To keep going on like this after she's explicitly telling you, I can't tell the world where he's buried because they will desecrate his grave. Please stop.
Yeah, okay, that's horrible. And this is a very good point Nick makes here.
Yes, it's a very good point. He's making a point because she won't.
I'm going to
Candace won't stop. I thought she was, but she flipped it on Erika. Now they're supposed to have a meeting. What is the meeting? When does the meeting happen? They're supposed to have a meeting so they can talk. I am saying it right now. What the hell happened between her and Charlie Kirk? No. What happened between Erika and Candace? Because I thought Candace and Charlie were friends. But according to some people, those emails that you threw out are dated, are old. Did Charlie give up on you? No. I seen interviews where Charlie said that he didn't stop being friends with Candace even after they stopped working together. He didn't stop being friends with Candace, so they were friends, but they weren't all that close. Maybe she thought they were close and he didn't. After all, he did come across as racist, so I don't know.
Accusing his friends and his wife and everyone he knew of killing him, you can't really contend that you're doing it for the right reasons anymore. Charlie loved his wife. I think that's clear. Maybe he did. Who knows? But at the minimum, you can't go out in September and say, I'm going to listen to Erika. If she tells me to stop, I'll stop. Okay, well, she told you to stop. Well, I'm going to keep going anyway. All right, so what are we doing then? And here's the last thing I'll say about it for tonight, because I spent a lot of time talking about it this week. This is the last thing I'll say. At a certain point, you just need to show the evidence. I don't even know where we are in the saga right now. It's like we have these Egyptian planes, we have these maroon t-shirts, we have, apparently there's intelligence about a French assassination attempt, and there's like all this stuff, but there's no smoking gun. There's no there. And so you got to wonder, how much longer is this going to go on? Are we going to wake up in December 2026 and we're still going to get Instagram stories? tomorrow is going to change everything. Someone saw someone else someplace and they have the same name as this one. And he'd go, okay, so what does that even mean now? I'm sorry, you lost me now. In the early days when we didn't know what was going on, you could really believe anything. And we were looking at everything. Now I feel like we sort of have an idea of what transpired. We have the confession from Tyler Robinson, which has not been disputed. This has been produced by the FBI. If it's fake, then Discord can come out and say those messages were never sent. But they haven't. We have Discord messages from somebody that knew Tyler and the boyfriend. We have the weapon, which is apparently a weapon that was given to him by the family. Candace has seen the medical report, which says that it is an entry wound in his neck. We have footage of him in the stairwell walking to and from the crime scene. His coworkers say he walked with his fist clenched, which he did. His family turned him in and he confessed. They said, where was he shot from? He needed to be Spider-Man to get on that ledge. No, there's a pedestrian walkway to get up to where the bullet was fired. It's like, so we sort of have all the pieces. We have a pretty clear idea. And now we're awaiting the trial. So let's see what's presented in the trial. But in Crazy Town, you've got like a million different irons in the fire. There's all these different theories. Well, this one picked up his phone, and this one looked like he rehearsed his reaction. These people wore maroon shirts.
I mean, like, he's constantly talking about these maroon T-shirts. Like, maybe they are like.
Yeah, what maroon T-shirts? What does that have to do with anything? Okay, hold on.
And the bullet didn't blow up his head and turn it into a pink mist. And, it's like, so if you can present an alternative theory, I'm all ears. If you can present an alternative hypothesis, so who is the suspect and how did they kill him? Is it a handgun? Then where did he get shot from? It's a big crowd. How did he shoot with a handgun from a short distance in a giant crowd? Wouldn't that be on camera? There's cameras everywhere. Wouldn't someone have heard that? Guns are loud. And if not, if it came from a far enough distance, where's that? And if Tyler Robinson is the patsy, why did his parents turn him in? And why aren't they defending him? Here's another question. Why is Candace Owens not defending Tyler Robinson? Because if she's right and it's a conspiracy and he's a patsy, then he's an innocent man who might get the death penalty. Shouldn't she be advocating for him? And what happened to her? She intimated that the parents didn't think he was guilty. Where did that go?
You right, Thundernut. I think so too. I just can't put my finger on it. Just wild. Just something about him.
If he's innocent, then she should be Tyler Robinson's biggest advocate. She should be leading from the front saying, free him. He's innocent. He didn't pull the trigger. That gun doesn't match the bullet. But you don't see her doing that. I mean, we're at the point now where I feel like the whole thing is about it should collapse. I don't know if it will because I think that people are so out to lunch, but I feel like it needs to collapse at a certain.
Well, you're right about that. So many people are out to lunch about Candace and this president. So many people are out to lunch. And this is allowed. All of this garbage is allowed. He's right about that.
How much longer can you drag this on with bullshit? And the whole thing with her is she said, there's receipts. I've got this letter. I've got the proof. I've got the text. I'm going to name names. Where the fuck is it? Remember when she said she had Netanyahu's letter and then Netanyahu published it and he was glazing Israel the whole time? Remember when she said she gave the names and bank accounts and everything of the French people trying to kill her? Why didn't she publish that? Remember when she said she had evidence that Tyler Robinson's parents don't think he's guilty? Where did that go? Where is all this stuff? Where are the names? Where is the hard evidence? There was a time when they said, well, she can't release it all at once. She's waiting to see what they say. Okay, well, it's been 3 months now. We got to get, I don't know how people are still hanging on to this other than the drama. But I saw that today and I'm like, oh my, I don't know how it goes on another day, but you know what? Monday's the big day. Monday is when I believe it's Monday, right? Today's the 11th, 12th. Yeah, so Monday is the big turning point stream. I am going to probably react to it after the fact. I don't know if I'll do it live.
Right.
I'll either do a reaction stream or I'll just give my take on it that night. But it'll be very telling what happens on Monday. Hopefully they can bring it to a close because it's just too... This seems to be the only thing that's going on this week. That's the only reason I bring it up. If there was other news, I'd be all over it. But this is like the biggest thing. Erika goes on the show. She goes, stop. Candace says, no, I don't think I will. Okay, so then cut the shit. What are we even doing? You like nothing that she says means anything then. I can't get over that. It's just like, and you find these things all the time. She goes out there, she says, I will stop if Erika tells me, okay, stop. No. Okay. And I reiterate, she needs to produce the receipts. How much money has this woman made? Is it in the millions? Is it in the hundreds of thousands? How much money has Candace Owens made grifting off of the death of Charlie Kirk, standing on top of his casket?
Okay, but the same goes for like Erika Kirk. How much money did Erika Kirk make because of all of this? I think she also made a lot of money now. And it's true, Candace Owens makes a lot of money, but I mean, like, she deserves it. And again, I'm not trying to defend Candace Owens.
That weird voice. I don't know where he's from, but that accent is weird as hell.
How much money? I'm sure it would surprise you. I'm sure it's in the millions. But anyway, that's that. We're not going to spend too much time on that tonight. We're going to move on.
Yeah, so we're not going to have a conversation about that. But my understanding is, aren't they supposed to be having a meeting? Are they supposed to be having a meeting? What's going on with the meeting? I don't know. Wait a minute. Just this one last thing. I want to find out what the hell is going on. Hold on. Wait a minute. They supposed to meet, and I haven't seen anything yet. I haven't seen anything yet that says
later today about claims that she made surrounding her husband's murder.
Ty Pyro joins us with the story. Good morning
to all three of you. Erika Kirk confirming the meeting on X, saying that she and Owens agreed to have a private in-person discussion and that all other public discussions about the topic will be on hold until the two meet later today. Owens responding, saying she is very much looking forward to their discussion. The popular podcast host has publicly speculated to her millions of followers for the past few months that the man who authorities arrested in Charlie's assassination was not the actual culprit. It's something Erika addressed last week.
When you go after the people that I love, and you're making hundreds and thousands of dollars every single episode, going after the people that I love because somehow they're in on this, no. Your words are very powerful, and we are human. We have more death threats on our team and our side than I have ever seen. I have kidnapping threats. I have, you name it, we have it. My message to them is to stop.
Turning Point USA had a live stream planned for today, which intended to discuss all of the wild claims surrounding Charlie's death. But that stream has now been canceled so that the two women can meet in person. So now we wait and see what comes from today's meeting.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube.
Okay, so there was a meeting. There is no more meeting. So they're going to meet in private. So we're going to find out what's going on. So that's it with Candace and this goofy shit that's going on with Candace. I don't know why that girl started this shit up, but she started this shit up, and so she got to go down that rabbit hole. Okay? The president started his day doing bullshit. He started his day doing bullshit, and he ended his day doing bullshit. Okay? He's embarrassing. Yeah, we got some Erika fatigue, Candace fatigue. We sure as hell got some Trump fatigue. That's for sure, for sure. So hopefully he don't put nothing else on the bullshit tonight. I know we're going to have some kind of war breaking out before Friday. because the Epstein files are due Friday, but we'll talk about the Epstein files some other day, some other time. Make sure everybody hitting the like, share, and subscribe. We have content like this every day. I got here real late today because I had to do some things. I normally don't stream during this time. I usually do it before or after this time because this is a very busy time, and I hate streaming during this busy time because people doing X, Y, and Z, and you don't have enough people to have coverage. But my whole thing is you hit the like, share, subscribe. It is what it is. The Trump can't you can't deny, you can't defend any of his actions today. You can't defend that tweet that he put out about Rob Reiner and his family. There's nothing to defend. It's crass. It's beneath the presidency. And this is one of the reasons why he never had the support to begin with, because he doesn't know how to conduct himself as a president. What he done is beneath the presidency. Unfortunately, his followers don't see that. I don't care what you defend, how you defend it, you can't defend this. But it is what it is. I will be back tomorrow, and hopefully I'll be back on time. Not back on time, but enough where I'm not going to be streaming at 10, 9 o'clock at night. I hate to do that. You know, I like to stream during the day, you know, mornings or early afternoon. I will be back, so we will have more content tomorrow, and we got to do our thing. So please hit the like, share, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. I will see you tomorrow. I appreciate y'all. I appreciate you all. I appreciate